Hello friends, this week we have a double bill of Spike Lee.
Who was that guy?
That brother was the best damn soldier that ever lived.
Spike has a new film on Netflix. It's called The Five Bloods. And then we're going to go back and take a look at a classic Spike Lee film that's more relevant than ever before.
You know, deep down inside, I think we wish you were black.
Let's begin with The Five Bloods.
Gentlemen, welcome back to Vietnam.
This is prime Spike. It is messy, it is long, it is bursting with emotion, music, violence, turmoil, and as always, as a filmmaker, he is reckoning with the state of his nation and the state of his soul as a black man.
In Memphis, Tennessee, a white man assassinated Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King also opposed the U.S. war in Vietnam.
It begins with a montage blending a decade of American folly in Vietnam, years of pain and protest that marked the civil rights movement, and then we're in Vietnam, Saigon, present day, and it's a reunion of sorts for five black veterans. They call themselves the Bloods.
We are back. The Bloods is back.
Our blood don't die, we just multiply. Soon to be five.
Amen.
And so there, Spike really takes his time exploring the terrain, setting the mood, but then you begin to see the flashbacks, and it's interesting. He plays with the screen ratio, the borders move in, and suddenly we see the Bloods in their prime on a mission as soldiers to recover CIA gold led by Storm and Norman, Chadwick Boseman playing this almost mythical soldier that they all looked up to.
We've been dying for this country from the very get. We give this gold to our people.
Here we get to the crux of the film. This is no bucket list. This isn't just a reunion. It's a treasure hunt. The excuse of this endeavor is that they want to retrieve the body of Storm and Norman and repatriate him, bring him home to American soil. But they know if they can find that body, there may be gold in them thar hills. And if they can find those millions and millions of dollars, I mean, that's the value of this treasure, it might balance the scales for all the blood that was spilled.
Broken man. So what, you blaming yourself?
You don't even know.
It's interesting, given the moment that we are in right now, to look at the Five Bloods and look at these characters, and especially the character played by Delroy Lindo of Paul.
I see ghosts, y'all. I see ghosts.
Of those four, Paul is carrying the most baggage. He is suffering from PTSD. He is haunted by his friends Storm and Norman, and he is driven beyond reason to get that gold, even when his son David shows up for the ride.
Don't lie. You're going after the gold. I read Oz's emails.
The power of this film is that no one is pure, neither the Vietnamese or the Americans. There are scars on all sides, and Lee doesn't pull his punches, punctuating the film with shots of the very real horrors of what was done during that war. And I should warn you, this gets messy and bloody. I mean, it gets rather grisly at times. The biggest pyrotechnics of all come from the performance of Delroy Lindo as Paul. He is America's Frankenstein. He is a monster created by the war, the racism, the decades of hurt and pain that have been left there to curdle. And there's a remarkable sequence in the middle of the film where it's just him slashing his way through the jungle, his eyes burning a hole in the camera, looking straight at us, saying, "You made me malignant."
Hold on!
Amazing stuff. Now let's go back to a younger Spike.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
Always do the right thing.
31 years ago, critics call it irresponsible, dangerous, reckless. But what Lee really was trying to do was spark a conversation.
Hey, Sal, how can the brothers on the wall here? You want brothers on the wall? Get your own place. You can do what you want to do.
This is a portrait of a community. It is a snapshot of a block in Brooklyn wilting on the hottest day of the year. And the middle of it all is Mookie, played by Spike Lee himself. He is a pizza delivery guy who works for Sal, played by Danny Aiello. Now, Sal is no sweetheart, but his son Pino, played by John Turturro, is worse. Hates the job, hates the community, hates the black customers he serves every day.
What I tell you about that noise? What I tell you about them pictures?
What starts as a boycott boils over, the police arrive, and at the end, there's broken glass, ash, and the body of another black man lies dead. But ultimately, do the right thing is a question. What's the response to a wrong thing? What's the response to injustice? The nice thing about this movie is right now a certain Canadian cinema chain, which isn't open, is allowing a number of black films to be streamed for free. So you shouldn't have any trouble reacquainting yourself with Do the Right Thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Thanks for watching.